Italian 105, yes? Okay, cool. Здравствуйте, меня зовут Zelda. Очень приятно познакомиться. I forgot how to say good evening. Anyways, this is the Speakeasy. Welcome. Right. Very nice. So we have a few speakers tonight. By that I mean 3. So feel free to sign up at any point. We'll leave this over there and you can go sign up. Our first speaker is going to be Puppet Master, so I'm excited for that. So yeah, I guess I will just go through like a little preliminary shtick and then we'll be on our way. Well, by the way, my name's Zelda. That's what minazevu means in Italian. Anyways. And I usually they pronouns. So when you get up here, if you want to give yourself a little introduction, tell us a little bit about yourself, whatever you want. I do not care. And then please keep your reading to 3 minutes, no longer. I will keep a little timer going in the back and then just like raise my hand when we hit 3 minutes, which doesn't mean like stop, it just means like wrap it up. When you are reading, if there's any sensitive content, we would appreciate it if you told us or like gave us a bit of a content warning. That would be much appreciated because this is a public space and we all want to be respectful here. So that means, you know, no hate speech, nothing racist, sexist, homophobic, all that jazz. What else? Yeah, and then I'll just like let y'all speak. So sign up sheet will be back there. After these few people read, I'll come back up here and open it back up and stare at you all until one of you comes up here. And then at the end, I will tell y'all a little bit about the Writer's House and some of our resources, and then you may go enjoy your evening. So, without further ado, welcome to the stage. Puppet Master. Oh my god, it's an actual Puppet Master! That's awesome. Thank you very kindly, Puppet Master. That was fucking awesome. I mean, Sophie F, you can go if you want, but I don't think anything's going to top that, so. Sophie F, is that you? Let's give a warm welcome. Let's give a warm welcome.
Hi, to introduce myself quickly, I'm Sophie. I'm currently a high school senior and I am exhausted perpetually. So this was written a few months ago when I started the college admissions process. And go figure that I have to follow such an incredible act. So this is wildly, wildly off key. But we're gonna deal with that anyway. Okay. There is a girl who looks at me in the mirror. A girl who sometimes wears my face and sometimes does not. Objectively, she knows that her standards are ridiculous, unattainable. For everyone else, she is so proud of their B's and their effort, and it's all real. It's just that, for her, reality morphs. The fact that her mother is proud of the honor roll certificate that was just delivered, hangs it on the fridge, burns a little bit, as if to say, I'm so glad that you haven't embraced that loser potential of yours and flunked out yet. Because, with the girl, there's always a yet. Always a caveat. Always a condition. There's another piece of paper in the mail. Written on it are the words, second in a class of 207 students, GPA of 4.6955. For the girl in the mirror, it's the bare minimum. The blood, sweat, and tears that go into those successes aren't real. That girl doesn't count. She stands there in front of the mirror, measuring herself, and she knows she shouldn't, but what other metric does she have to go by? Grades, activities, awards, they're all that matter right now. Because she's still young, and school is all that's real, and every night she spends alone in her room, studying until dawn, will be worth it when she achieves her goals. When that letter comes in the mail, with the words, "Congratulations, Miss Fitter," written on it. Because then she'll be safe and free in college, already accepted, already good enough, already worth something, but she isn't yet. She's terrified of senior year, terrified of the summer ending, terrified of the next week, day, minute, because she just wants a break. Senior year will be more long nights typing feverishly into her laptop, even as her tears stream down her face and her breath is so fast it's a constant roar in her ears, and a cold plate of dinner sits beside her on her bed, untouched, forgotten. High school is fun. It's freedom. It's autonomy with a safety net and a mother who brings you hot chocolate while studying at 2 a.m. and holds you when you cry and tells you it's okay to get a B. High school is friends, it's parties, it's making bad choices and failing tests and falling in love so hard you can't breathe. College is around the corner, and where will the safety net be then? The warm voice that promises me that my B+ isn't a failure. Because it is, because I should have done better, could have done better, but I was lazy and stupid and a fake. Because the thought of doing the piles of homework sitting next to me on my bed, pushing me off it, made me begin to cry and hyperventilate, and then I couldn't stop. What an indulgent, ridiculous waste of time. But what do I do if not waste time? I hide in my room, studying day in and day out. I don't talk to my friends. I don't speak to my parents, can't hold eye contact, can't return a hug, because it makes me start to cry. I'm losing them, losing my life, my world, but I run toward the destruction all the same because it's all I know how to do. I skip dinner, there's no time, but I dread the day that I won't automatically be included anymore. I know what'll happen. I can't wait to escape the hellhole that is high school, but the prospect of adulthood makes me want to run and cry and hide under my bed, because the summer will end, and I'll sob, study, string my bloody, battered body through senior year, and then high school will end, and college will determine the course of my future, and then I'll be in med school, just praying I do well enough to get accepted into any residency that'll take me, just so I can begin to pay off the crippling student debt that will haunt the rest of my life. And then I'll spend 12 years in the workforce, and only then will I have my own practice, my own money, my own 45th birthday card stacked in a neat little line. Will I live? Will I rest? Will I be allowed to? And then it's too late. Experience is missed, life over, and it'll be my fault. And I just know that this is the truth. Because my hands are bruised and bloody, fingernails tearing out as they scratch and claw desperately at the lid of the coffin I built, buried, sealed. But it's my bed. Always has been, always will be. It's time to lie in it.
That was beautiful. Thank you. And I also don't miss high school. But Godspeed on college admissions. You will get in somewhere, most likely. The next person is Lydia Host. Warm welcome.
Thank you. My name's Lydia Host. I am a community member, I guess you could say. I went to college once. I have a children's story, short children's story. I'm shopping around. It's called The Hungry Bunny. There was once a bunny who ate everything: grass and straw and hay and twigs and little bits of wire. She caught roots between her teeth and jerked her head back, and she drew grass blades into her rapidly nibbling mouth like a dollar bill into a vending machine. So cute. Tugging on roots one day, she found a worm whose violent thrashing could not save it from her inexorable nibbles. It wasn't her favorite, but it had a strangely fortifying effect. Then on another occasion, on the principle of try everything twice, she caught what turned out to be a baby mouse's tail. The creature's petrified shrieks hurt her tall, adorable ears, but the taste was delicious. And of course, once she'd had the tail, she had the mouse. She laughed to herself. If other bunnies only knew what they were missing. She told her wife of her discovery. They were lesbian bunnies. And they adopted 3 little bunlets. But her wife was horrified and said, "My God, you're not a bun at all." So she ate her too. Then she ate the children. By now, she was an extremely well-nourished bunny. Everyone marveled at her sleek coat, powerful haunches, and Elizabethan collar. She hunted sparrows, rats, and even small kittens. Her favorite was when a kitten came to bat a bunny around and turned to see her looming over them. Hers were the bony paws of justice, she told herself, and if she had satisfied her appetite with a few little buns along the way, it was a reasonable levy for the protection that she offered. Okay, so she ate people too. Small ones, of course, the weak and defenseless, whose parents were working night shifts. Only the New York Post ran the story, and they blamed first the parents and then rats. Nobody suspected a bunny. Oh, she was an insatiable, hell-sent rabbit. She decided she wanted an heir and was able to conceive through in vitro fertilization. She selected a soft, sensitive-looking bunny as the father, a reflection of her youthful idealism. She gave birth to a daughter who at first adored and then despised her. The daughter is now living in San Francisco, working in web design, and tutoring underprivileged children on the side. There was a bunny who ate everything until there was nothing left to eat. Mice became like rice cakes. Human flesh lost its illicit thrill. Sometimes she didn't even finish her rabbit. So what did she do? What anyone would do. She went back to grass. It was a spiritual cleansing experience. Psilocybin was involved. She wept and was sick. And when it was all over, she settled down to write a best-selling memoir framed as an open letter to her estranged daughter. The end.
I don't even really have a witty remark for that. That was just really strange. But very good, very good. All right, there is no one more signed up, so this is the staring part, unless, okay, there you go. Thank you. Very brave. But I will return.
Salutations. My name is Leo Solga. I'm a freshman in the college. I use he, him pronouns. Zelda, is it okay if I detach the mic? Yeah. Okay, thank you. So last open mic, I did a speech. This was a Teddy Roosevelt speech. I didn't do it well enough, so I'd like to do it standing separate from the podium. Thank you. I'd like to begin by saying I cannot condone the actions of Teddy Roosevelt, who is in many ways a terrible person. Anyway, the poorest way to face life is to face it with a sneer. There are many men who feel a kind of twisted pride in cynicism. There are many who confine themselves to criticisms of the way others do what they themselves dare not even attempt. There is no more unhealthy being, no man less worthy of respect than he who either really holds or feigns to hold an attitude of sneering disbelief towards all that is great and lofty, whether in achievement or in that noble effort which, even if it fails, comes to second achievement. It is not the critic who counts, not the man that points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred with dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again. For there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place will never be with those cold and timid souls that neither know victory nor defeat. Thank you. I quite like it. I think the message is to just like not judge other people's actions without knowing what they've been through. And this was like right after he almost killed himself. Anyway, I think it's a good speech.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a lot of questions, but we'll do that later. I'm going to commence staring again. Thank you. I'm going to make this as awkward as possible, by the way, but yeah, come up. Every time I do it.
Hello, my name is Jack. I use he, they pronouns. I'm a Penn student. This is a poem dedicated to a person I'm trying to learn from. Where morning turns this cold field gold, there's my late son, mighty as the day he never saw. An old man can't bank much against eternity, but I love that boy. He still holds the line behind the barn, set in the sunlit swell he sowed for us. Seeding all this earth, past that blasted hilltop and the yellow cast of morning's false horizon, there's more of us buried with a future's worth of suns. An old man can't bank much against eternity. I don't intend to stretch my days ahead. I mean, to look dawn in the eye and end this wealth of mourning. My bones count for little grief in this peculiar soil. I am a single speck in afternoon where longing leaves its shadow right before it claims this threshold world. But I'm not here to die. Morning eyes do not unsheath to rest. I am at another day's rise, moved only by one lonely force, the pulse of golden footsteps, the soul within my center, a beating love for who you are. That's why we're here, not to give our deaths until our lives.
I'm over here now. Hey guys. Oh yeah, reminder, Jack, well, good poem, first of all. Yeah, you can, as Wes was doing, you can snap, you can make a little bit of noise, you can holler politely. Woo! You can do that. Would anyone else like to read? What if I said no? Wouldn't that be crazy? No, yeah, you can read. I'll let you go, and then maybe possibly you. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I like to let the new people go first. Welcome. Warm welcome.
Good night, everyone. My name is Luisa. I am a first-year student here at Penn, and I'm from Brazil. I'm going to be reading a poem that's named Vein and Bone and Everything in Between. I have been gone for too long. From valleys and rainforests and Caatinga's desert, I have walked barefoot nearly 1,000,000 times smaller the distance that my ancestors have crossed. Like dark figures in an urn, I imagined the large smears of grief that kept their eyes as strenuous as the buckets that they carried in their heads. I can see my grandmother's calloused hands from plucking roots out of the earth on a land that was supposed to never grow a thing. I can sense her maimed back, the breath tumbling alive from her lips, the swelling ache of being a woman. I can sense her sorrow as she whisks her daughters away into marriage, childbirth, housework. Moments press like flowers because hope was elusive, intangible as her dreams. My family exists between pages torn through with wounds that are older than memory. They couldn't love anything because nothing was their own. They couldn't rest their eyes because there is nothing but misery to look upon. Just the kind of pain that shatters and refuses the stubborn bloom of spring. Just ripped maps in the form of scratched skywards, beating hearts and pulsing veins to remember that it's hard to make yourself exist. So they loved little and walked feet by feet, slowly and pounding to the beyond. Thank you.
Well, that was lovely. Thank you. Is that Luis? Luisa. Gotcha. Very nice. Staring game is commencing now. Oh, no, it's not. Hey, Alex. Go ahead, my boy.
Thank you. I gotta pull it up. I actually wasn't planning on doing. Oh no, that's the wrong document. Okay, I think I have it here. Is it possible to do two small things, or should I do one small thing and then wait and then do another small thing? Is that permissible? Okay. All right.
No, that's fine.
I'll have to
do
choose.
two. No, yeah, do two.
Okay. Well, my name's Alex. I'm a sophomore here, and I unfortunately study business. This comes into handy because this poem I wrote while I was plug your ears, please, applying for finance internships. So I was a little mad. It's a little short. Okay. I've never read poems out loud before. I don't think these are meant to be read out loud, but okay.
Well, we love you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Of course I knew about the magnates. Their cloven hooves, pulverizing soil fertile, taking the last train back to Greenwich. The day they learned to plant cash was the time of the broker, the money trees, and the broke. The year of Dow Jones, whoever he is, and the month that bulls learned to run. And of course I know about the mice at the pit the bulls furiously dug, learning to cave the edge in for seeds. One plays violin in the financial district at rush hour to catch the suits, waiting for the benediction, for Sanford Mean, for the weak matadors to be trampled by the bellowing oxen mass. Yeah, that was... I don't like Wall Street. I don't like Wall Street. And then, where's the second one? Sorry, guys. Okay, second one. I don't like growing old. Okay, it's called Some Pictures I Send My Parents. Because I send them a lot of pictures of me doing things in college. Because you love to see how I've grown. This, while the hours fade away, and anything left is half memory. Like Willie Nelson when he sings about time. It has been a long, long time, hasn't it? I would do everything the same way again for some more youth. 19 years and the leaves still need to be raked. I want piles to jump into and for the wind to keep them at bay. I also want less crabgrass in our old yard. I want more worlds to inherit. Yeah, that's it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Alex. That was kind of like a poetic version of The Wolf of Wall Street. But I liked it.
I like to consider myself.
Yeah. Anyone else? Let's go green sweat shirt Cardigan, that's what it is. Woo!
Hi, my name's Mariam. I'm a freshman. I'm from Egypt. It's my first time doing this. There are a lot more of you this way.
Welcome,
Thank you.
first of all.
So this is a poem called Zamalek Echoes. Zamalek is an area that I grew up in, or like lived in for a part of my life. So I followed the night's whispers, past the city's orange glow, and the windows framing people I would never get to know. While the air hung thick with silence, weighed by things I wouldn't say, so much I felt it in my fingers as I pushed it from the way. And I fought the empty space that walked beside me in the cold, the invisible reminder there was nothing there to hold. Until the things I called familiar slowly disappeared from sight, and it felt like the whole world was home to just me in the night. Don't you know you're alone? I shouted at its endless black, then was taken by surprise as a voice came flying back. But the answer was an echo, and the voice I heard my own, ringing clearly through the silence, you are alone, alone, alone.
Thank you, Miriam. Okay. What if I started pointing at people? Just was like, go read. I was going to start pointing at people, so. Look now, go ahead. Warm welcome. Warm welcome.
It's working? Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Felipe. I'm from Brazil.
You might want to pick up the mic so that
Yeah,
you
it
can.
would be better.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to be a little rough with it. There you
better.
go.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, so hi, everyone. My name is Felipe. I'm from Brazil. And I will read something that I wrote yesterday when I was thinking about what to read here today. People say that if you want to write, it must come from your guts. It must burn within you. It must pierce your chest out as lacerating as Lancelot's sword. It must be your only option to avoid madness or worse. It must be explanation enough for the whole creation. I sit in front of the dusty computer keyboard, trying hard to run the keys that insist on not turning my thoughts into pixels and words on this screen, thinking, is there such a thing as an ex-poet? If so, maybe I'm one. Perfect poetry is like a dog chasing a car tire in an endless race for art, not knowing what to do if I finally get it. But the pursuit of perfect poetry yields no poetry at all, and the thoughts stuck in my mind earn a Green Mile sentence. Maybe perfect poetry is unattainable for a reason, and maybe I'm neither a poet nor a former poet, but something in between. Maybe I'm like Icarus trying to fly too close to the sun while feeling my wax wings burn, and maybe poetry should just slip through my fingers and never truly exist, as if reality were the end of expectation, a supernova exploding in itself. The paintings Vincent never painted are the prettiest, which is why entering the cemetery is more expensive than the museum. I guess some things were meant to never happen, and the memories of the constant hit of these keyboard keys by my fingers that caused explosions that would sweep away all the dust and shake the wooden furniture in a move that would drive Richard insane can only be called a side effect of the Tylenol I took for my headache, even though I know I can swallow pills before bed. Dante would be proud of those who make hell a divine comedy, but he would surely be disappointed by me, who made something divine a hellish comedy. Maybe this perfect poetry and I should be like one of those never painted paintings, because if art doesn't come from tragedy, it becomes one. Still, the thoughts in my mind dwell like fighters in a coliseum, hungry for escape through some decasyllabic verses, and I need to keep fighting. I am a dance sparring fighter in the 10th round, throwing as many hooks as I could, only to find that, after all, the judges had already passed the bookmaker, and I could never write this poetry. Perhaps the perfect poetry for me is the one I was never able or dared to write. With every key I press, I'm hit by a hook from my cemetery piece, the perfect work never written, the total dominance of thoughts in a tangled dance in my mind, the complete madness, the most tragic arts that can ever exist. And at this point, I don't think there is any way to escape the knockout. My tombstone is not the outcome of the fight. My tombstone is that I struggled breathlessly inside Truman's show, living in search of poetry that I would never get. Watching the chaos of my mind implode like the buildings in the final Fight Club scene, and not being able to turn this tragedy into art. So now, the spotlights have been blown out, and the set dismantled, and I just sit here with a tragedy and a computer while the world waits me to make some art out of it. Now, I just sit back and face the dusty key of my own computer in an endless search of the perfect poetry. Maybe I should give up and accept that I am something between poetry and madness, a dichotomy between art and nothingness, one that will have as a magnum opus a test he never wrote. After all, the paintings Vincent never painted are the prettiest, but I also can't afford the entrance to the cemetery, so I just sit in front of the dusty keyboard and let my fingers dance a funeral march with the keys. Thank you.
Well, if that wasn't a perfect poem, it was a damn good one. So thanks for that. What? Hold on. Gotta make sure what time it is. Okay, yeah, we're good. Thanks. Go for it. I'm gonna keep talking like just through the mic. No, I'm not actually.
Hi, this is my first time doing this, so great. This is not
Warm welcome.
This is not a poem because I'm rather bad at writing poetry. But so just context. When me and my friends first left for college, we realized we'd be missing each other's birthdays, and it'll be the first time we'd be spending time apart on those days for over 10 years maybe. So we wrote each other letters to cope with that. So recently I've been writing letters again, and I realized I actually kind of like some of the things I wrote, so I just spliced them together into this poem. So yeah. Okay. Dear Riv, I think I might begin to hate the fall. I dread the ritual of saying our goodbyes, the last meals together, final hugs at the end of the night, the exchange of gifts, because none of us will be present for each other's next birthdays. It is a comfort then that I have your words and you have mine. Amal El-Motor, inimitable, wrote that books are letters in bottles, cast in the ocean of time. This is not a book, and the few months before December are only a trickle in that ocean, but I hope my words have some of the magic that Motar invoked. In your absence, I will collect memories of our time together, turn them over in my mind until they are polished smooth as river stones. The smooth flick of your wrist as you fold a meringue into batter, soap suds clinging to your fingers as I sponge off dishes in your sink, your countertop lined with mismatched cups holding peppermint tea sweetened with far too much honey. I've been thinking of a quote lately, something a long-dead white man probably said, that we are mosaics of the people we've loved. I don't know if I agree with that. There's too much meaning of life musings packed into that line, but this at least is true. I cut apples the way you taught me, shearing off slivers of flesh till rabbit's ears peek out of the slices. I write with the pens you loved, black ink, .38 tip Muji brand. I know your kitchen as if it was my own, the salt jar that never closed properly, the battered tin of tea leaves your parents forbid us from opening, the fine bristle of your matcha brush. I spent some time speaking of the past, now then to the future. Come visit me in Philly. I want to take you to the arts library, wander below those redstone turrets and stained glass windows, point out the gargoyles snarling on the walls of the quad, walk with you on the banks of the Schuylkill as city lights shimmer on the water. I swear I'll book tickets to Boston to see New England in all its faux British glory, so I might meet you in all the places you've loved. And when we get a break from the years of schooling awaiting us, I want to visit Europe's cities with you, to eat artisanal gelato and giggle at medieval artist attempts at baby Jesus. Even Vegas will do, desert magic and capitalist excess. Signing this off feels like too final a stroke. I hope you see the meaning behind my thicket of purpled prose, that you may see that all my words are permutations that say what you have already said to me. You will always have a home in my heart.
Damn. That was good. Who's next? You're next. Warm welcome. Now.
Hello, I'm Ritan. I'm a senior, and I was in Delhi for this summer, and I was going through my stuff, and I found something I'd written before I was 18. So this is that. It's called Delhi Before 2019, Me Before 18. Have you ever seen a wildflower in an office building? Have you ever seen a leaf in a hand? Have you ever seen nature in a bottle? A smile in a sea of tired faces? Heart poured out as poetry, catharsis on cheap magazine paper. She looked fake but felt real, looked around the world, found it near. Some islands are senseless. Some words, some faces remind you of others. Known blends into the unknown, too little information to love. It was enough to fall, but not be picked up. And so the fall was forgotten, the instinct denied, the love buried, melting into the unknown. Like a childhood memory of playing in the sand, making houses from dirt, swords from branches, pens from twigs. The toddler never learned to run, like a magic trick perfected by the idle kid, performed badly by the sellout. Chained freedom will become unchained one day. One day will come when I can breathe anew and brush off the morning dew like I used to. Before I grew up, I used to run in the rain, sometimes on my bicycle. I remember falling while being chased by dogs. What was so great about those days of mud, rain, and pain? When I checked the doors more times than I should have to be sane. And the takes I've overcome are trivial now compared to the basic demands of productivity my life makes of me. Have I been telling the same story, the same joke for too long? Have all my friends come to say bye to me, or am I doing that to myself? Why do I cut off my ties to people I loved in moments of my life? Why give up before starting? Why start and never end? Your obsessions with the world. Why start and never end? Your obsessions with the world. Why wait for the rain to run outside? Old buddy of mine, why did we stop talking? The unknown into the known. Will I die with a perfect set of teeth and a perfect routine? Thank you.
Lovely, lovely, very lovely. Anyone else? I could just start beatboxing. No, I'm not. I mean, I could. Okay, yeah, sure. Warm welcome. Sorry, I keep forgetting to do that.
Hi. I have to pull it up. I'm sorry. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Hi, my name is Angel, and I'm going to be performing. It's like a crossover between poetry and prose, kind of. So it's kind of like a story. Also, it kind of alludes, trigger warning, to domestic violence. So if anyone's sensitive to that, it doesn't like explicitly state anything, but it does have allusions to that. It's called Bottles. Bottles, bottles. He holds onto the lifeline tightly, taking small sweet sips. Miniature pink lips shape around the bottle's nipple. The boy sips, the mother beams, and everyone is happy. Bottles, bottles. Branded with Coca-Cola swirled along their fronts. Empty and hollow until he makes good use, filling them with water and blowing small breaths, then hearty huffs, all to hear the tunes flow. He smiles and kicks his feet, and mother watches from the doorstep as the music fades into the wind. Bottles, bottles. Downstairs, a crash resounds. Upstairs, he loses himself in sounds that pound as he dreams of drums and music, the pleasant things in life. The bottles crash and tears drip to the floor, but the melodies, they swirl around, holding him tight and offering a familiar warm embrace. Bottles, bottles. One whips past his head, and another falls to the ground. She knocks a third down, unfixable, irreplaceable. As the bottles move around him, he covers his ears and tries to think of the drums. The drums, they pound as mother knocks her last down and storms out. Bottles, bottles. One's contents clank and clutter as the others slosh and splash, but taken together, their contents form a haven where his mind can be safe. Bottles, bottles. He slips a piece of paper in and tosses it to the ocean, and with it, dreams of happiness and warmth, a family, he hopes, who he can teach the many meanings one glass item can have. Bottles, bottles. That clink like chimes, cheers resound, and he smiles as though he can still hear the melody of a Coca-Cola bottle humming in the wind. They congratulate, he smiles, and everyone is happy as the sound of his drums resound against the walls. Bottles, bottles. She holds onto the lifeline tightly, taking small sweet sips. Perfect pink lips shape around the bottle's nipple. He watches and promises not bottles that shatter or whip past your head or make the melodies feel like a never-ending headache. He promises bottles that sing in the wind and clink to your success and drift in the ocean with promises of keeping you safe. The girl sips, her father beams, and everyone is happy. Bottles, bottles.
Thank you for that. That was very nice. Oh, I thought you were just getting up to go again. I mean, oh, okay. Well, that's basically as fun as this. Oh, okay. Anyone else? Anyone else? Going once? No, I'm not going to do that. Again? Yeah, no, that's fine. Go ahead. Warm welcome, part 2.
Once you do it once, you have to do it again. Okay, this is titled Cringy Fucker. So I'm aware. Okay. Sorry, it's just because it's a picture from a page, so it's kind of hard. I'm sorry. They teach us that when we love, we become slaves to our lover's will. We ache to hear their voice, hunger for their touch, that we should lay down our lives for a gesture of their approval or a sliver of their attention. We're told to breathe them in and let ourselves out, encouraged to let them rest just beneath our skin. We're supposed to be willing to tear our bodies open and carve out space for them. We're coaxed into letting them take up residence in our hearts, like parasites. We should let them feed off our love and burn holes into our flesh. It's the sweetest form of self-destruction. In our fear, our desperation, we will never want them to leave. We'll beg them to stay because we're terrified to live with half a soul, half a mind, and half a heart.
Thank you. Very nice. Glad you shared a second one. Anybody else? No, because I don't like you. Anybody else? No, okay, go ahead. Woo! Warm welcome, warm welcome.
Okay. Hi, I'm Lex. Zach forced me to be up here, so thanks.
Go, Zach.
So I have a poem that I wrote, I don't know when, semi-recently. It's called A Haunting. So, let me ruin just this one thing, darling. Let me let you crumble under the weight of my phantom limb just this once. Just this once, over and over again, I say, and I said, and I will say. Hand that memory to me, will you? Let me hold it for you, for a moment. In these ghostly hands, ghostly fingers, you know how pale I am. Over and over, I reach for one thing and one thing and one thing more, until my image is pitch black, blinding, solid, translucent, limp, pulsing, alive, dead, is a haunted house. Let me be a haunted house, darling, a haunting.
You're going to have to read that one in October. Spooky. Very nice. Anybody else? Jack, why do you keep looking at me? Oh, yeah. That makes sense. Anybody else? Oh, Puppet Master! Let's go! Let's go again. Puppet Master. If this is the closing act, I'm like fine with that, by the way. Because you're awesome.
This is called Inclusion Solution.
Oh, hell yeah.
Inclusion, solution, inclusion, solution, inclusion, solution, inclusion, solution, inclusion, solution, inclusion, revolution, inclusion, solution, inclusion, revolution. Now, okay, thank you.
Yes! Thank you. Oh my God. Nobody go. Can we end this? No, we can't. All right. Anybody else? Damn. Why, though? Okay. You can go. But I hope it involves puppets. No, damn.
Do I reach this? Yes, I do. Okay. Hello. I wrote this for my class tomorrow, actually. Not professor. He's a poet, artist in residence, and he's calling it an intellectual autobiography that we're building throughout the year. Has to do a little bit with history, a little bit with like events that happened. So I'll just get into it. It's not polished. It's not polished. Okay. Refusing the mattress I laid out on the floor, he asked if he could take refuge with me. It's not that cold, I thought to myself, but maybe his sunny upbringing did not bring forth bone-chilling cold like my December. I let him come up and join me, did not expect his lips to request their pressing onto mine, yet I learned to casually purse acquaintances under Parisian streetlights and London's street tracks. I did not think much of it. I did not think of how his arm's texture was far finer than mine, of how effortlessly he was made to stand out amongst even the palest of marble at the museum. In flurries with academia beneath me, he insisted that his derivative writing was superior, failing to see that at the speakeasy, only mine was criticized for the tonal shifts between passive and aggressive, between his tongue and mine. Why'd you style your beard? Natural. How'd you get that trench? I bought it. Where's your accent? It's there. In pitch, not pronunciation. None of these were directed towards him despite his prickly beard, his overworn fraternity blazer, his California English. None of these elements were ever noticed by the wine-tasting company we kept, only that I drank despite my complexion and him picking it. No one, not even he, questioned him, because white boys were never raised with the effortful, picturesque required. Because white boys are hung and paraded in museums, because we're behind glass in locality. That's it.
Thank you. That was very nice. And I'm glad I don't like boys. Anybody else? You? Yes? Go ahead.
Hi. Hello.
Where's the warm welcome? The warm welcome.
I'm Katie. I don't really write a lot of poetry, but this is something I wrote for my English class last year. So, yeah, it's kind of a letter to America, but it's kind of confusing. I'll just go ahead. The great explorer Marco Polo. In the Jiangmen pool, I'm 7 with jumbled canto caught like sticky rice between my teeth. I say, Marco. My cousins do not understand the premise of the game. Polo, I try to explain, but I'm drowning under the waves of this Pacific Ocean. It washes over parts of speech, leaving my language in pieces. I only know how to count my frustration. Yet isam. Pronoun. A word that can function by itself as a noun referring to someone or something mentioned elsewhere in the discourse. Post-19th century, he has 2 parts. Its left side derived from the character person and the right also /2. Ta, a person too. The West has dirtied my mother tongue, disfiguring the characters to ta, 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 he, she, it. Please refer to me as ta. Tell me, Marco, am I a person too? Marco, am I woman enough for you to strip me from my home and drag across the Silk Road once you slaughter my kin at Okinawa? When you capture me for my sex, will you pronounce me dead to my delicate lover at home? Will you push her by shoving her into the oncoming train? Will you be satisfied trophy hunting for my epicene body? Will I be exotic enough for you? Marco, will you too let my children die without their language, or will you barricade them in internment camps at home? Marco, will you understand my broken English, or will you deport me once I endure Angel Island? Marco, will you treat Kung Flu the way you remedy your yellow fever? Will you have a bad day and shoot me too? Marco, have I mistaken you for white supremacy? Have I mistook you for the colonizer? I apologize. I will send you my finest silk, precious jade, and splendid spices. What will you trade me? I barter for the warmth of fox skins, the strength of horses, and the sweetness of grapes. You've discovered, no, conquered the East. You have left me with the blood of predators seeped into my hands, the stench of dung in the space between the tiles, and the residue of drunken sorrows on empty cups. The black plague trickling down the Silk Road. Be proud and true. Polo, go back to where you came from and ride your camel to hell.
Thank you. That was excellent. We have time for like 2 more. So make sure it's very, 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 very special. Do you have a story about lesbian gerbils? Okay, well then I don't really want. Yeah. Okay, anyways, go.
Thank you for hosting this. This is fun.
You're welcome.
I'm Lydia, host again. I have 3 short poems. The first one is kind of sad. No, the first one's kind of funny. The second one is kind of sad. And the third one is about love, which is the greatest thing of all.
You didn't say if it was happy or sad, though.
Happy. Love's
Okay,
happy.
okay.
Most real love's happy. Good love's happy. All right, the first one's called Drum. My best friend is a talking drum. I thump her lightly with my thumb. Drum, do you love me? Drum with your hair to the floor. Did you hear the fireworks last night? You would have loved them. Your raspy cackle is just what my fireplace needs. Drum keeps me company in remote places. Drum calls to drum. She's dating a clarinet, reedy fellow all in black, with silver buttons. She's dating a turntable, a flute, an 808. She's always been unlucky in love. Nobody wants a cracked drum. She buzzes and she hums, and that's just at first. Everyone's afraid, what if I play with her, and she gets worse? They finger her crack, test its seams, and leave. She laughs and cries into her sleeve. Did you hear the thunder last night, drum? It's nice to know that there's a bigger drum out there. So that was supposed to be the funny one. Second one's called Home Again. Once you guys get back from college, and then leave again, and then go back again, then leave again, then go back again, a lot changes in your life over that time. Cool spring day, mirrors autumn. My dad looked ill as he jogged up the hill. He fell and vanished. Someone saw, but they won't tell. The birds cry out like fax machines. I've flickered my way through eerie PA, but here with you I cry till nothing's left. You ask, how far the most distant star? That's the sad one. And this one is the one about love. This is for Mary, who's not here right now. She's studying medicine. Let's pull and lay the sheet. Let's lie here in the sun, grass is bunching underneath, and kiss each other's lips. Your breath is hot, your body's soft and warm and linen. I'll kiss your thighs inside and giggle. Let's stretch like lazy lionesses in the sun, far from the pride. That's everything.
I want that type of love. That would be nice. Anyways, one more person. You? Do you dare? You're going to be the closer. Do you have a puppet? No. We'll see. I'm judging from afar.
It will be terrible.
Okay, good.
Just a match. If I can. Oh, it was easier this time. Okay. So, hello again. This is something I wrote some time ago, like 3 months ago, I guess. I don't know. Well, it's called Napkins. A former KGB sits by the fire somewhere in eastern Siberia and writes on some napkins that would soon become fuel for the flame. The moonlight invades the room through the gap between the window and the ceiling, gently illuminating his jacket but not his mind. His hand ignites the predictable predicates as he sits on the dusty yet purged floor of the oak cabin, and his ebony eyes shine with what the world left for him, because that would be enough for his overly mundane art. The paralyzing cold cut through his hands had gradually lost the ability to turn into words what has been long frozen in the core of his soul. He writes about love and stuff on a few more napkins that, in the good old days, girls would write the phone numbers with Van Gogh's blossom wallpapers. But he never writes about the same girl. The sirens ring outside the cabin, and the words on the napkins begin to be stained by the water that drips from the roof. Along with the water, A tiny light beam comes in, just as he expects to get in his chest after the people out there get what they want. And old memories drown his mind with all the times he got what he wanted from those chaps in the gutter. The dripping water begins to form puddles that reflect his nauseating face, but he does not dare to look. He has looked at the abyss for too long, and now he cannot look at what he has become, what he was, or what he never meant to be. He perceives the fighting ring inside his mind, just him against himself, making tragedy his art and art his tragedy, as sin and sinner in the same immaculate body. A cockroach crawls between his feet, and he suddenly crushes it with his aged leather boots. Perhaps ceaseless karma will make the same scene repeat tonight. The flame begin to fade away. The same damn flame for Notre Dame and Pompeii would be the most anointed gifts to him. The sirens start to intensify, and the blue and red colors continually invade the cracks in the wall as the man's hand begins to sweat. The disruptive sound of the clock on the gloomy corner of the room invades his mind intermittently. Tick-tock. More and more, the lights and all the noises in the world mix in one sensation while the whole planet sings in unison. Tick-tock. Everything gets louder. He knows what he did but doesn't regret it. Or does he? Tick-tock. Perhaps the fire could save him, but how can you save yourself from being trapped inside the shack of your mind? Tick-tock. Finally, the flame is completely gone. There is not enough fire to light his last cigarette, and certainly not to keep his own monsters away. And at that moment, when the last tick-tock arrives, he sits down and realizes that there is no former KGB. Thank you.
Spicy Ba? No former KGB agents here. I have a handful of things to say, and then you can go home. First, I have presents. And by presents, I mean hand sheets of paper that you can come up here and grab right now. Well, I'll tell you what they are first. This is a calendar. It tells you everything going on at the Kelly Register. Oh, by the way, it's like, by presents, it's like propaganda. We want you here. More. Take it. It's all of the events happening at the Kelly Writers' House. So there's a lot. We do a lot of stuff. There's actually something, almost everything every night. And we would love to have you here and indoctrinate you and get you to love poetry and whatnot. And then there's this list here of all of the things that are run through the Kelly Writers' House. There's a lot. They all happen mostly upstairs. One of them is happening right now, the Pen Review, which I'm a part of. You should join so that I can haze you in like a month. That's the only reason I want you to join. Anyways, that is what's up here. Presents, come and take one. And then one other thing, we have food in the back that was probably delicately prepared by somebody I'm a coworker of. So munch that shit up. Then that's it. Thanks. You give yourself a round of applause. That was wonderful. Not as good as my poetry, but that's okay. I'll see you around. Come say hi. I'm here all the time. Bye.